Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a look at different ways to improve the thermals of our PS3s. First of all, my quote-unquote test subject is my PS3 Slim with CECH250, so it's got the 40nm CELL and RSX chips. They don't run very hot, but they still don't mind have some help staying cool. This guide may be especially useful for fat PS3 users, especially the earlier models, which tend to run quite hot. So let's get started. First of all, the biggest tip is repasting. Repasting is the first and usually most effective technique to improve a PS3's thermals, since as the console ages, the original thermal base dries up and becomes much less effective. Replacing it with some new one does wonders for your thermals and is usually recommended as one of the first things to do when getting a used PS3. The only downside is that getting to the chips to replace it is a little tricky as they're buried under everything else. So I recommend searching up iFixit guides for disassembly and being very careful with ribbon cables because they're very easy to break or to just not connect properly when reassembling. For example, I kind of broke my Blu-ray drive by repasting this console. So yeah, all digital. And I also use thermal paste such as Arctic's MX series or Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut, or even better and a fan favorite, Honeywell's PTM 7950 thermal pads. Those work wonderfully. And yeah, let's go to the next point. The second point is custom fan speeds. The PS3's stock fan management is kind of booger. You see, the fan inside of this guy is quite a big one and consequently is also quite loud at higher speeds, so the default fan curve integrated into the console is geared towards keeping the fan quiet, even at the cost of higher temperatures. The fix is pretty easy, but your PS3 will need to be jailbroken, either with HEN or with full custom firmware. If you haven't done it yet and are interested in doing it, I've linked some videos from the mighty Mr. Mario 2011 in the description, so go check them out. If you're not interested, feel free to skip to the next point. For who's interested, you'll also need WebMAN MOD installed on your console. If you haven't installed it yet, check the description for the download link and for the installation tutorial. Here we are on the PS3. I hope my controller doesn't die halfway through this video. But you want to go into WebMan Games folder, then WebMan Setup, and then here, WebMan Setup again. Wait for it to load on the web browser. And then you see these options up here. You want to check this box up here if you want the auto modes. The first mode is the auto fan control, which slowly and slightly speeds up the fan gradually until the temperature threshold, which is set here, is reached. And then it just shoots the fan at very high speed, like 70%, until the temperature lowers. I don't recommend this because it gets really loud, especially over like 50% fan. The manual fan control is a fan favorite because you just set one fan speed and the console will keep that one no matter what happens, except if it reaches 80 degrees and where it enters the overheating state and just shoots the fan at maximum speed. The downside is that you have to set it right, and when the console is cool, the fan won't slow down, it will keep going at the same speed and it might get a little bothersome. Auto number 2 is my favorite, and it's a new mode introduced in one of the latest updates of WebMan MOD, and under 60 degrees Celsius it lets Syscon manage the fan, and if the temperature rises over that, it takes control, gradually raising the fan speed as the temperature changes, instead of ramping it up last minute like the normal auto does. The only downside is that on the higher temperatures the fan speed might fluctuate between two steps, like 45, 43, 45, 43%, and might be a little annoying. And finally we have Syscon, which is just the default fan manager that's integrated into the PS3. And this is one that the PS3 uses when WebMan is not active or when the PS3 is not homebrewed, it's not jailbroken, the default one. So once you've chosen the fan manager of your choice, just press save down here. Then reboot the PS3 by clicking the here button, the little text that says press here to reboot, and let it reboot. If you have a CFW such as EvilNet, the fan curve, WebMAN mod will automatically start up with the console, and as such the fan curve will be instantly applied. But if you've got HAN, you have to enable it before the console can automatically control its fan. The third and final step for improving your PS3's thermals is propping up the console. Yes, I know, it might sound ridiculous, but this simple step does wonders for your PS3's thermals. Just grab something to lift up the PS3 from the surface it's standing on, and the temperatures will fall down significantly. Don't believe me? Let me demonstrate. I'm going to use 4 Jenga pieces laid down like this, horizontal, to prop up the console. It's not a big prop up, but still it does a lot of good for the console. Let me show you. I set the fan speed to a constant 40%, and I'm going to use Gran Turismo 6, which is one of the toastier games on PS3, to actually test the temperatures. Here are the temperatures of the flat down console, and here are the temperatures of the propped up console. Quite an improvement, isn't it? Well, not quite, I'd say. I don't know what happened here, but when I'm upstairs, the PS3 is in the living room, propping it up actually does some difference, and actually quite a significant one. Maybe it frees up the rear vent, which is a little constrained, but I guess here in my room there's enough breathing room for the PS3, so propping it up doesn't really do anything. But I still suggest you try it. Maybe the fan speed was set so high that it actually was cooling the PS3 decently and there was no need to prop it up. But yeah, kind of underwhelming, but still, try it. Thanks for watching this video until the end. I hope it helped you. In that case, drop a like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps. If you have any ideas for future videos, write them in a comment and I'll try to satisfy all of you. Just a side note, if you have one of the earlier FAT models and really want to keep it for the PS2 compatibility, I suggest you look for a Frankenstein mod. It won't be cheap, but it will be quite effective. Thanks for everything and see you next time.